Okay.
All right, guys, welcome to the Buff Show. Today we got a good market update coming your way, and this is in conjunction with a quarterly market update. So Q2 just passed. We just entered into Q3. So we got additional numbers to review and show you. So it's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Do you want to start us off on our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
We let Austin join.
We got to warm up.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I'm good on that.
We were watching some TikTok videos. Anyways, today is July 17th.
More than halfway through the year.
More than halfway through the year. July is always crazy. People compare July with like December. And I don't think people think of that because they're like, oh, it's summer. It's going to be crazy. And it is crazy with vacations and trying to track people down and the 4th and the 24th. And
I would say July's more busy than December by far.
Yeah.
You got a busy week in December.
I did have a busy week in December.
But I mean, like family wise, people are busy, more busy
Yeah.
in July.
But all the month of July has family reunions,
day
and
one,
parties, vacations. And
People want to ruin lives and get married.
Yeah.
And take my weekends away. And
Well, and I see it. I don't know. It is weird that everybody's like, "What's the market like right now?" And I'm like, "It's bipolar."
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Some things are hot and crazy and sell fast, and other things take a long time. For example, we had a property we listed it was just after the 4th. Yeah, in Bountiful. We listed it 2 weeks ago. We got 5 offers and sold it 26 grand above asking. And these guys had been for sale by owner for a few weeks before that. And then we have another property that I just closed on yesterday. And this one was out in Perry. And that one took we listed it before Christmas. It was just,
that long.
It took a long time. We had offers and we were getting activity, but everybody had a house to sell. And it took so long. So it's like, what's going to happen if you're selling right now? Like, it's hard to say. Sometimes you get lucky, you get 5 offers and a lot of activity and 22 showings. And other times it's like, slow.
There really isn't just one narrative right now.
No.
Like it's per property dependent.
Yeah. Yeah. It is strange. So what are rates doing right now? We've had some crazy news. Trump just got shot. Rates dropped slightly. We saw a half to half. Quarter to 0.5%. So I just printed this off. This says a 30-year fixed is 6.84, 15-year fixed 6.3, an FHA is 6.28, and a 30-year VA is 6.3. So anywhere from low 6s to 6 3/4. We have a good range. When before, it wasn't that long ago, we were just stuck in the 7s.
Yeah, I'm sick of seeing 7s.
Right.
I'm done with the 7s.
And then Trump got shot. Like, that was a massive news thing. I'm sure everybody's seen and heard about that.
Stocks jumped after that.
Stocks jumped. People are excited. So that will be interesting to watch unfold. We're getting closer to elections. I think it's just going to get more noisy, more loud. If you have a house to sell, like as agents, we're trying to be out there and loud and promote ourselves in our listings. And it's just there's a lot of stuff going on right now. So you have to get creative sometimes. So anyways, let's jump into some of the monthly indicators we're seeing for June. Austin, you want to take it off?
Yeah. So let's do new listings June. So this June compared to last June, we have 0.4% more listings. So hardly any change there. Last summer looks a lot like this summer in that regard. However, year to date, we're up 12% in total listings. So
yeah, that's interesting.
We had a lot going on earlier this year is what that says. And then June just kind of stalled out.
Yeah. You got pending?
Yeah, I'll do pending. All right, pending. Wow, that was echoey. Did you hear that?
Don't yell at them.
Yeah. Pending sales. June of last year to June this year, we are down 11%. So we're down about roughly 350, 400 sales in the month of June.
June was a rough month.
Pending sales. Yep. I'm getting stuff under contract.
Rates were high.
Yeah.
That was the month I did an open house. I did 3 open houses in a day. Nobody showed up. Like, that was a world record for me.
Yeah.
I don't know another agent that's done 3 in a day and not had anyone show up.
all three had no one
No one.
come.
Yeah. It was like a marathon
Wow.
of open houses.
But I
And
mean,
they
speaking of bipolar, though, I did them the same days as you, and I got
Yeah.
I got
let's not-
stuff.
Let's not talk about that.
My June was good. I mean, we closed deals. We had Leighton. We had 2 in Morgan.
Well, that's the thing, though. You close deals, meaning that
Well, I
these
guess that's
deals
true.
happened in
no,
May.
like we closed them this week, so we were
He had
getting them under
stuff.
contract.
Yeah.
in June.
in
Okay.
June.
Okay.
I mean-
because my June was busy too. But again, that all happened in May, right?
Yeah.
You went under
Yeah.
contract in May. But
Yeah, we were going under contract in June, and closing
Gotcha.
just like a
I
couple
mean,
days ago.
well, I've had 3 closings in the past like week and a half.
okay, is this a
And-
competition
we're
here?
flexing
Are we-
Well, listen,
I will lose.
Yeah, those
We're
went,
talking-
those
those
went
are
under
all the-
contract in
in
June.
June.
So,
Yeah.
but overall pending sales was down. Like,
Yeah.
there was not a lot of.
Yeah.
I mean,
Close sales down.
It's
yeah.
bipolar.
it is bipolar.
The overall state says slow, but I think in June a buyer, it's one of those buyers' frenzies. If you're ready, you know what you're looking for. That's when sellers are at their weakest. You know, if
Yeah.
you think of it like that, because everyone's busy and they're not getting offers on their house and they're getting discouraged. And it takes a good agent to be like, "This is what the market's doing. Let's expect to be slow this month. Don't
Mhm.
panic. Don't freak out. You know,
Mhm.
let's talk about your timeline." So
Yeah.
that's one thing to keep in mind as you're buying or selling. You know, go for the throat if you're buying, and if you're selling, like, hey, be prepared. It's going to be slow.
Be
It's going to
patient.
be awkward.
Right.
So
Right.
don't take that as an overall clause of what the market's going to do. But
Yeah.
Junes are always slow.
So
Mm.
closed sales, same trend, 7.7% less than June of last year. So
Mhm.
we're seeing a
Interesting.
trend going down. Got days on market.
Keep up with the flips, Austin. Come on.
I'm all out of order here. There we are. Payne printed this out for me. Use double sided. Thank you. So days on market, we are at 46 days on market. So from when you list your house to getting under contract, this June took 46 days. Last June, it only took 44. So we've gone up 2 days is all, but that's a 4.5% increase.
Which,
Yeah.
and you look at the full year of last year, 365 days from today, we come down for the most part, progressively stepped down in our days on market.
Right.
So
Right.
I see that as a good number.
Yeah.
Not,
Yeah.
not a crazy out of side, but that's a good number.
Yeah,
Mhm.
especially if you compare it to 10 years ago. 2014, you were 75 to 100, So-
Jeez.
That's a lot of average days on market.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
Sales price, median.
All right. The point at which half of okay, let's just talk about this. Median sales prices, where you take all the sales prices, line them up, smack off the start and the end until you get to the middle.
The highest and the lowest.
Yep, until you meet in the middle. So June of 2023, 495,000. June of 2024, 505,000. So we had a 2% overall median increase. So think of that appreciated value, about a 2% swing on the median price. So
Mhm.
Pretty flat.
which is flat, but it is going up.
Mhm.
We're not seeing.
For how long? I mean,
Well-
it's going down when you look at our percentage increases over the past few months. Like May was
Yeah.
3, April was 4, March was
Well-
2.9.
February
we
But,
were-
but it's
5.
still going up.
Yeah.
It's not going up quite as fast, but
Right.
we're still ticking up.
Yeah.
There's not as much area to rebound from
Which-
now
which-
that we've caught up.
Which my prediction for June was I thought we would be flat or negative.
Oh, really?
Honestly. Yeah. And if you look at some of the counties, me and Ben were looking at this.
Mm-hmm.
Weber County, June to June, is down 9% on that, 0.9% on the average.
0.9%. That's all.
Morgan County, negative 13% on the median.
Prices going down.
Holy.
And you have to keep in mind on those, we're comparing very small samples in Morgan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
But
gonna
Weber
get
County,
there.
not
But Weber
necessarily.
County,
No, there's
But
a big
look
sample size there.
Look at our median sales price a year ago in June, right? It dropped almost 6% in June of last year.
Yeah.
From
Well, that's
May
that's
to June, it
that-
dropped 6%. And this year,
2022 to 2023.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, all of this is interest rates driven, right?
Mhm.
And you can see in 2021, there was a peak into 2022, and then it was like a steep drop. And we've been slowly like
Mhm.
trying to creep out of that, but you just can't creep with these interest rates.
but think about it though. We got shell shocked.
Yeah.
Okay. Prices softened. I wouldn't say they dropped. We softened.
Yeah.
slightly corrected. But rates haven't come down. If anything, from the first big jump to like into that 5 range, we've only climbed up, and the rates climbed up. But our prices have climbed with them.
Rates are currently towards the low end of the 52-week low. We're closer to the low end than we are to the high.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, last month, my opinion was, oh man, we're screwed. Like prices are going to start coming down. But with the adjustment in rates that we just saw, some of the feedback from what's going on with the elections and the market and everything. And I think we could start seeing rates soften a little bit more. I mean, there's a lot of encouragement and hype there right now. And if we see that happen, I think we'll see prices go up more.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of good speculation in the market right now that I'm feeling. Are you guys?
Yes.
Do you feel the same thing?
Well, think about this. We've already dropped quarter to 0.5% in mortgage rates.
Right.
And the Fed fund rate hasn't actually dropped yet.
Right.
Like the true thing that moves the needle has not even moved yet. In September, they're saying that the Fed is still planning on a drop, and maybe one even in December. That's Wells Fargo's prediction, 2 by the end of this year.
And if that happens, we will see. Like if rates get into the 5s, prices will go up.
Yeah.
Here's my question. We know that's going to happen, right? Interest rates drop, prices go up.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to cause a frenzy. But we're not at a 3% and the 2 9s and stuff like we were last time. Like, how much of a frenzy is it going to cost? Are we still going to be stagnant? Because, 6.5 to 5.5 is a hell of a cut.
So yeah,
but it's still expensive.
I know, but that's the problem.
What are we going to jump like we did?
We're going to jump because people get set to payments. They don't care about prices. People only look at like, what's my monthly payment going to be? And I was talking to a client of mine who's been waiting years and years to build. And he's like, Hayden, COVID happened, supply chain is fixed, but prices haven't come down. And I'm like, yeah, because if you give somebody a certain price, why the heck would they, and things are still selling, why would they be like, okay, it's fixed now, let's drop it back down? Right. They're not going to, because they just got new market data and feedback saying, hey, the consumer is willing to pay this price. They're just going to keep it up. And I think house prices are the same, where if rates drop, the buyers are going to be like, whoa, we can actually afford more. We really want this house. So the only natural thing to do to get the house is increase the price because they have that flexibility in payment. Do you guys agree?
I agree. I think the frenzy isn't because it's going to be cheaper. I think it's a psychological thing. It's like, oh, we could get a rate in the 5s. We've been sitting on the sidelines for 18 months, 2 years now. And now that we can get a 5.8 mortgage, let's just do it.
Yeah.
And
this is what we've been waiting for.
How many people fit in that 2-year window?
And I'm going to be the devil's advocate here. I don't think that's going to happen.
Don't you?
I don't. I think we're going to see a quick bump when they drop, right? The people that are right on the fence. But I don't think we're going to see this feeding frenzy. And, all of us as agents, and you see it on TikTok and Instagram, and get ready, buy now before that feeding frenzy comes and your $500,000 house turns into a $900,000 house, which very well could happen. But I don't think it's going to be as crazy as everyone thinks. I think we're going to get a quick influx of the people that were on that we'll call them the 6.5 to 5.5s that couldn't quite do it, now can do it. That's going to be our only rush. Anybody that could be buying is buying right now. And I don't think a 1% is going to cause that big of an inrush.
So I don't think.
So what's the bet, boys?
I don't know how to quantify this, but I don't think the floodgates will open like you're saying.
Okay.
But I do think the garden hose is going to turn on.
Sure, and I agree with that.
Wait, I don't want to agree with you.
That's what I'm saying.
Dang it.
You're gonna see an increase in a healthy jump.
Okay, a healthy jump, 10% in increase in sales prices within 6 months. That's a big jump.
Okay, so what's the number?
You tell me the number. You're the one disagreeing.
Average sales price. Let's do median because I like median better. I think median sales prices in Utah is going to be. I bet it doesn't go up in 6 months. Next year in July, I bet we've only gone up.
Well, that's a year.
A year.
We got to wait a year to see this bet.
So December, Christmas for Christmas.
But it's true. Rates do need to drop in order for us to build.
For Christmas, the average sales price in Utah will still be under $650.
The-
Oh, yeah,
the average.
the median.
the median.
Oh,
Yeah,
it definitely will be under 650.
Do you know what
You mean
it-
550?
Or excuse
550.
me, 550. Yes.
Under 550?
But I mean
Yeah,
I
I think so
agree
too.
with that too.
Okay, then why are you guys saying that there's going to be prices are going to rise? But I mean, look
That's-
what happened
that's-
last time.
December's only 5 months away. No, it's not
That's-
going to jump
that's-
50 grand
That's
in
a
5 months.
that's
Are
a
we
10.
all-
No, what you
It's
just
a
said
20.
is a 10%
10.
jump,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, 10. That'd be
10%.
10% in
No.
5 months.
In
That's not
5
going to
months.
happen. No. No.
You just said a
No.
Pull my
10%
calculator.
jump. That would be a 20% a year
I
if,
would
if it continued on the trend.
say it would jump. It's a stretch, but I'd say 5% jump by 2025.
Yeah, well, we must be on the same page. I'm
so
not.
yeah, okay, we are.
But-
we can agree to.
we're all
Agree.
agreeing. You guys are just being more dramatic. No,
What
Yeah.
you just said a big
No.
yeah. The prices might be up to 550 by the end of the year. That's floodgates. That's a 10%
That's-
increase in
that's-
6 months.
But look what happened last time the rates dropped like that. It wasn't 10%. It was 100%. It was
yeah,
you know,
we had,
townhomes went from 200
but
grand
not
to 400 grand.
yeah, but not that,
over the course of
Over a
18,
few years,
yeah.
Okay. Still,
Yeah.
that's still quadruple
Yeah.
what I just
Yeah.
estimated.
well,
There was that year with like a 27% appreciation. What was that? 2021 or 2022?
but yeah, we had
Yeah.
almost close to a 30%. I'd have to go
Yeah.
back and look. It was
Time over
crazy.
time. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
2020, right after COVID. Things
All right.
like spiked like crazy. But anyways, we're on the same
yeah,
page.
we are. Okay.
Average
That's
sales
rare,
price.
by the way.
yeah.
Mark takes
Takes all-
date down.
Takes all the fun right out of it, doesn't it?
Average sales price. This is add up all the sales numbers, divide them by how many inputs there were,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
and then divide it.
Mhm.
Divided
Divided
by-
by the total
divided by
quantity
the-
of
yeah.
inputs. Yeah.
And so we had a 4.6% increase in June. So our average sales price in Utah this year is $650, median is $500. Yeah, not much more to talk about there.
No.
You got percentage of original list price.
Yeah. So this June, sellers are getting 97.6% of their original list price. Last June, they were getting 97.6%. So no change.
Ver-
Perfectly flat.
Very very exciting.
Yeah, very riveting. Yes.
You made it sound like that too.
Well, I was making sure I was saying this right because this one we always say wrong, but
All right, Ben loves this one.
All right. The housing affordability
Yeah, he
index,
does.
in layman's terms, basically the average income, household income, based on the average
Median
or the median income and the median sales price.
under prevailing interest rates.
Under prevalent, gosh dang it. Basically, with rates, household income,
Yeah.
and
how much?
median sales price, all the medians of those,
Yeah.
how affordable is it for you to get into a home? And at 100, it's considered affordable, 100%, right? So anything below 100 is harder to get in. Anything above 100 is easier, more affordable. And right now we're at about a 74 on the index. So that's not very affordable. It's hard. It's
No.
hard out there.
You look at 2012, we were 190.
Yeah.
So we saw a big drop in 2021, 2022, where it really started jumping down. It's just things are expensive. Everything's expensive. Houses are expensive. Cars are expensive. Interest rates are expensive.
Life
I mean,
in general.
we talk to people
Yeah.
daily. They're like, "How are people affording homes?" And sometimes I'm like, "I'm not sure," but you have to have a house, right?
Yeah.
And this is another topic for another day. But my I want to say it because like my dad, he's always like, "You guys are just living the gravy life now. Like it's so easy." Back in the day, I'm like, what? Back in the day, houses your house was 15 grand. Like, ooh,
Yeah.
like you're
You
making
made-
$9 an hour.
Yeah.
Like you could pay off your house in 1 year. And he bought like a total fixer upper. But let's just say the median sales price was 50 or 75 grand.
Yeah.
He was still making $9 an hour, and his car was like 6 grand.
Yeah.
I'm like,
the
now,
proportions are just, they're off.
yeah, but I feel like we live a good life. Like I go on more trips than my parents did.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is it because like I don't understand why? I think we're just more fun. these days.
They
Is
were
that
more
it?
frugal.
I think-
Well,
I wouldn't call us more reckless.
Yeah.
'Cause like, so what? We're never going to retire. We don't need to worry about saving for it. Like, we'll just work till we're dead. Have fun on the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they were raised by people that went through the Great Depression. Maybe
Maybe that's it.
that
Yeah.
might be a stretch, but
Yeah.
it
So
was
maybe
still
they're
more fresh for them.
They saved more.
So frugal.
Well, and I
So
think I think a
frugal.
lot of people back then, there were just single family household incomes, like they just one person worked, and now there's a lot of like people are getting income from a lot of different areas, right?
Yeah.
Multiple spouses, or not multiple spouses,
Whoa.
spouses having multiple jobs,
Yeah.
like
Multiple streams of income.
multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
Like people now, like I have a lot of people that have mother-in-law apartments and other
Mhm.
rentals and things
Yeah.
like that. So they're just trying to make it work now.
But that I know what you mean. It's like you guys made half. Well, this isn't exactly. You made half as less, but your house was a fifth the cost of our homes.
Yeah.
Like
like
that.
like when you can almost pay off a house in 1 year and
Yeah.
what you make
Right.
from your job, like that's impressive.
Yep.
And now it's like, okay, the median sales price is 500 grand.
It would be like
How many
6
people-
to 7 years right now.
Yeah, how
considering
many-
the medians?
How many people are making 500
Yeah.
grand a year?
I heard
What?
this quote said
Yeah.
that we live in a time, we're boomer bashing right now, but
Yeah.
but we live in a time where life hasn't ever been more subjectively better or objectively better and subjectively worse.
Hmm.
So we live in a time where everything is easy for us, is that we don't think about it, like running water. We're not
Yeah.
starving to death. Our
Yeah.
babies aren't dying at mass rates.
Right.
Groceries. and-
There's still trials and tribulations out there, but
Yeah.
objectively, we have never been better, and subjectively, because of all of our media and our influences, there's more depression and sadness and
mental health issues.
mental health issues. So I
Yeah.
think a lot of it, just like we're talking now, it's one of those. Yeah, we have a lot more fun because it's more accessible, and we do a lot more things that might seem like the life of luxury because it's easier, right?
It is more
You know,
accessible. Yeah.
Running down to St. George in a car is
Yeah.
way easier.
Right.
Back, in Peyton's dad's time, I hope he sees this when he had to saddle up the wagon and
Yeah.
and I think that's a lot of that too. I think that just the objectivity to the subjectivity, what was real and what we perceive is different.
But I imagine we'll have the same conversations with
I'm
our
excited.
kids. And
I'm
I'll be like,
already.
back in the day,
Yeah.
I was working
I
3 jobs.
I had to plug in my Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't
exactly.
just park in the garage and have it charged. I had to plug it in.
I can't wait for that day. I was working 12 jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say it to my brother already.
Yeah.
I'm like,
you have.
I was
idea.
making $11 an hour,
Yeah.
and here you are.
That's such a big brother thing to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Oh man! All right.
Okay.
Inventory of homes for sale. So we are up 13.9% from June of last year to June of this year. We have 12,335 homes.
Are we on?
Am I on the wrong one?
Inventory of homes for sale. There are multiple.
Inventory for home for
Yep.
sale. I'm
Yeah.
looking at month supply of inventory. Sorry.
Month supplies next.
Yeah.
So
my bad. That's-
But yeah, so we have more inventory. This is the number of properties available for sale in active status at the end of any given month. So we got a lot of good options. I mean, if you're a buyer right now, there's options. And I think
There's a lot.
that's the benefit to being a buyer. You can be more picky.
Mhm.
You can be, instead of there just being one or begging sellers to take your offer,
Mhm.
it's really, there's pros and cons to every market. The pro to this market as a buyer is you have options.
I would say it's a fair fight right now.
Yeah.
It used to be sellers were stepping on buyers' throats.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, as far as
you know,
negotiations,
yeah.
yeah.
For a buyer, you have one, you can walk away because it's not the only piece of bread left at the market.
Right.
And two, sellers have a little bit of give if they are pricing accordingly.
Right.
So
But there's not enough options. I mean, there's still a lot of buyers that
Yeah.
are like, I really want this house. And that's where you're seeing, okay, sellers are negotiating on average 3%, which is a healthy amount. Like
Mhm.
they're giving some,
Yeah.
but it's not 101 or 102% like it
Yeah.
was at
Well,
one
and-
point.
you see it. For the most part, agents are bringing clients back to reality, but you'll still see the so far off this house is never, and those are the ones that are sitting for 200 days and
Right.
100 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You have to have some realistic expectations. So month supply of inventory. I have to do this one
yeah, you do.
because
Tell them why.
last Last
Oh.
podcast market update, me and Ben were going at it, and he made me bet him lunch. The bet was, so last month we were at 3.4 months supply of inventory, and I said that I bet that this month we would be
at 4
at
least.
4 or above month supply of inventory, just because we were running into like closed sales were down, pendings were down, but inventory was going up. I'm like, we're going to be over 4. We're at 3.7. So we went up 0.3, but I'm still 3 short. So I owe Ben sushi. I admit it publicly in front of everybody.
Dude,
Ben-
are you over 2 on the sushi bets?
Yeah.
Yours and mine. I won the last one too.
Yeah, I do not remember.
You should
that.
stop betting sushi.
Yeah.
No,
So
what?
Actually, I did.
You,
I
you took
paid,
me. You
yeah,
paid
I
up
don't,
on
I
it.
don't remember what it was for though.
Affordability index. I said it was going to get slightly more affordable.
So just don't listen to my predictions. I mean, I am
That's
always wrong.
Here's the thing. It's called gambling for a reason.
Yeah.
Like you can look at every indicator. We can count the cards. But at the end of the day, it's still best of our information.
Yeah.
And we're going to better our odds. But the world's a wild card. I mean,
The next thing you know,
shit
Trump's
happens.
getting shot in the ear.
Yeah.
yeah. And now my 401k's up.
Yeah.
Like, cause why?
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, it is crazy. So, I mean, we see more month supply of inventory. We're at the 3.7.
But that goes down.
But and it's funny because in 2021, 2022, we were under 2. We were like 1 point something. So
Yeah.
it's been a wild ride, and I'm always amazed at how like the real estate market's huge, but it swings like pretty big in directions, and it's just like who's steering this ship? There's so many factors that's controlling it, and
Jerome Powell is steering this shit now.
yeah, I mean,
I think Jerome Powell doesn't know whose pocket he's in yet. And so he's just kind of like bouncing between both sides until whoever wins.
so we have some other quarterly updates that we're going to dive into. Do you want to do Morgan first?
Yeah, let me. We just did a lot of information. Let me study for a second. Okay, I've got it. Okay, so what we did was quarter twos from last year, or well, from 21, 22, 23, and 24. And what we did, let's start with the median sales prices and average sales prices. So this is Morgan County for all my hometown peeps and kind of Austin's hometown peeps. He lives in Mountain Green, so
Thanks for the plug.
yeah. Okay, so Morgan County average sold price. And we're just going to go 21, 22, 23 into present for quarter 2. The average sale price is $794,000. To 22 is $834,000. To 23 is $737,000. To 24 is $690,000. So we started here, we jumped up in 22 and just stepped down until on the average sales price we've gone down,
Which is crazy. Anyways, yeah.
And remember, keep in mind, Morgan, we don't have a lot of sales, right? We're working with 5 to 15 a month.
Yeah.
So 5 townhomes sell, it's going to be here. $1 million home, $5 million homes, $2 million homes sell, it jumps up. So keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Morgan's numbers sway quick and down. So
let me just tell you in the quarter, you're right. I was going to call you out, but you're right. So in like Q2 of 2021, there were 25 sales. In 2022, 40 sales. 2023, 22 sales. In 2024, 32 sales. So there's not a lot of data points in
Right.
there.
and that's the full quarter. That's that's 3 months.
Right.
So, so if, on average, you're about 7 to 10 houses a month.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we ran median sales prices, and it kind of followed that same trend.
Yeah,
like,
it follows the exact same trend. Just numbers are skewed a little bit for that same reason.
so what do you have to say about like to all the Morgan people that are like Wasatch Peak's getting built out, prices are skyrocketing?
I've finally figured the answer to this.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
I don't think Wasatch Peaks is going to affect our sales price very much. However, I think it is going to hit our taxes, which sounds like one shoe without the other. Morgan redid our taxes, right? They've usually been historically 20, 25% low in
Mhm.
Morgan. Morgan stepped up their game, reassessed the whole county, and I would say they're within 5-10% on almost every property.
Oh, really?
Except for the few, there's some here and there that are
Yeah.
that they didn't go through, but anything newer,
Yep.
they really went after and were aggressive and got the taxes. Not necessarily wrong, and nobody likes to hear that. The values are there, but I don't think it's Wasatch Peaks. I think what it is the front pushing people to the back. And Morgan's a damn nice place to live. So
Yeah.
I wish
So-
I wish I could have a bad guy to hate, but I don't think it's Wasatch Peaks that's doing it.
Right. Well,
You
I-
disagree. I can see it.
no, my thought process with Wasatch Peaks is that there's a lot of affluent people moving up there and their friends and family that want to be close by,
Define affluent.
billionaires.
Oh, okay.
The elite.
the
The 1% of the 1%.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like the people that can afford Wasatch Peaks, like as that gets built out, there are going to be more and more people needing to, like, that's going to bring in jobs. It's going to bring in family members and other people that are like, ooh, this is kind of a nice area. I can't quite afford Wasatch Peaks levels, but maybe I want to be in Morgan, or
But
something
does
like
that bring our value up?
and brings more eyeballs, more demand, I
More
would
traffic.
say.
Sure.
But I would ask though, those Wasatch Peak people, are they not mainly their vacation homes? So why would their family be coming to buy a vacation home themselves by Wasatch Peaks?
Well, I mean, I had a showing this week, somebody from Park City wanting to get closer to work because he works up at Wasatch Peaks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, looking in Morgan. So
Sure.
it's bringing in, I mean, if you think about as
The-
that builds out, that's going to be a full community up there
I
that's
would-
going to need.
I would say
People.
I don't think it's
People.
Wasatch Peaks, quote unquote, the houses and the allure that's going to bring the people in. I would go back, look at industry follows residents, right? Industry moves out of the cities, right? They can't operate within the cities anymore. It's too congested. Industry steps out, residents follows. The population follows that industry. You don't really think about it. Wasatch
You have a lisp today?
Wasatch Peaks is an industry, right? Golf
Yeah,
courses,
sure.
ski
Yeah.
resorts, they have restaurants, they have all that other stuff, and they staff all of that. So that we just quadrupled the jobs in Morgan right there.
Oh, for sure.
or even more.
The hourly.
So now
Hourly
that
jobs,
that
yeah.
industry can, that people can work and be in that town and I
Not
would say,
have
yeah.
to commute.
yeah, I would say that's it's an industry. now.
Yeah.
So industry came.
hmm
So you
people are gonna
agree with
follow.
me?
So now, yeah, okay, I agree with Peyton. Anderson.
Yeah. So,
But I don't think
I don't
it's
know, guys.
the narrative of it's ruined our small town.
But-
I feel like it's its own micro market in there. I
Yeah.
don't
it will for sure. Yeah, it is. It's
But
a
it-
micro,
but it-
but it's going to affect
who-
all of Morgan County.
Yeah.
And I've sold homes in Morgan and
will
Mountain
affect,
Green
yeah.
of people that were building in Wasatch Peaks and wanted a home temporary
Mhm,
to be close.
mhm,
And so I've 2 deals in Morgan that I've done have been Wasatch Peaks owners
mm.
that are building up there. So I don't know. I'm just a little shocked to see the sales prices going down in Morgan.
It's
Mhm.
almost like it's not affecting us.
I mean,
I mean, this is prime time for when it would, right?
I
They've
agree.
been around for how many years now? We're going
well,
on 3.
and I don't know. I don't know why it has declined.
I think I know.
You
I
don't know.
I do know because people can't afford it.
People
okay.
can't afford it
People can't afford
with
it.
these
And so
rates.
in Morgan, there's everybody that's trying to get to Morgan right now is younger families trying to get back to their families, right?
Yeah,
Younger generations trying to bring the roots back to Morgan, like we all do, all have done.
Yeah.
But you can't do that now, and
Hmm.
we're running out of room, and there's just not enough cells to support anything.
Yeah, I think you're right. I would agree. Well, and I look at Ogden Valley numbers, and I haven't compared them that close, but Q2 of 2022 was Ogden Valley's highest
Mm.
selling quarter as well. And it's just declined since then. So, well,
Q2 of 22.
yeah. So it's interesting. Should we touch on
Well,
some of
that's
the
exactly when rates jumped.
Well,
I think.
and I think we're good on Morgan County, but when we jump to Ogden Valley, the one thing I want you to compare is the amount of sales we have.
Yeah.
Our sample market that we're working with.
yeah.
Yep.
So let's do average days on market in
Oh, yeah,
Morgan
sorry,
because
we
I
didn't
think
get
that's a
that.
good thing to talk about.
So average days on market in Morgan we went from 21 around 17 days, 22 around 22 days, 23 we jumped all the way up to almost 60 days on market, 57 days on average in Morgan. But in 24, our prices have softened a little bit, but look what our days did.
Yeah.
So I think we got crazy with our asking price. We sat on market for way too long, but now people are coming back into reality a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and days on market are going down because the houses are moving quicker now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the story I get.
Yeah, I agree.
The number of houses sold, we talked about that 25, 40, 22, 32. Morgan is, just a very
Yeah.
steady, nothing crazy. Obviously 22 was a crazy year. There was a lot of exchange of hands, I guess I would call that.
Yeah. But as far as new listings, Q2 of 2024, we've had the most new
Yeah, that's
listings,
true.
65. But that could be Rome. That could be a number of other new
Yeah,
developments that are.
Morgan's finally growing and
Yeah.
yeah.
So that the number of sold does surprise me. 32 this year. I feel like all people can talk about is the growth in Morgan. Yet 2 years ago, there were a lot more sales. There's 8 more sales.
Here's the thing: the people talk about growth the second they see a sign in a pasture or in a field, and then they talk about growth when the dump trucks and the equipment rolling and develop. And sometimes it's 2-3 years of growth before we see these numbers on our chart.
Well, yeah.
So I think, just like you said, Rome's just barely halfway getting built out and
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah. And their numbers are starting to come out.
So just so people know, that jump hasn't happened yet. It might feel like it because we're seeing those things, but there's not actually that many more residents yet based on number of sales.
Well, and sales aren't.
People gotta live.
Can we pull that demographic? Do we have a way to pull that stat of a
rentals?
No, not an existing property. Actual new properties added per county.
I don't know.
That'd be
I'm sure the
interesting.
county would have it on building permits.
Yeah, I guess yeah, on
That-
new lots and
New lots.
subdivisions and
Yeah,
stuff
that
like
would
that.
be interesting to see for sure.
So
Okay, let's jump over to Ogden Valley. So Ogden Valley average sold price Q2 of 2021 was 900. In Q2 of 2022, 1.138. Q2 of 2023, it dropped down to 942. And in 2024, it bumped up a little bit to 994. So we kind of we were down, we went up, we went down, and we're back up, but not as high as we were in Q2 of 2022. And then the median sales price has kind of followed suit. Similar
yeah,
trajectory.
yeah, exactly.
Which we pull both those numbers just to compare because we're like, is one going to be way off than the other? And again, I think after talking about it on here, Q2 of 2022, like things were booming, rates were still decent, and that was kind of the peak. We've seen a decline, but we're coming back up out of it.
But we're still higher than 2021.
Yeah.
In the craziness of up and down, we've kept a upward trajectory.
Yeah, over 2021, that is a good point to mention. And then as far as average days on market in Q2 of 2021, we were 58 days. 2022, 35 days. Q3 of 2023 or Q2 of 2023, 67 days. And 24, we're actually up to 80 days. So it's been high, down, up, and then even higher. So 80 days on market on average in the valley, right in Ogden Valley, Eden, Huntsville, Liberty. Number of solds, 82, 47, 46, and 51. So Q2 of 2024, we're at 51 sales in the valley, which is interesting. So Eden, Huntsville, Liberty, that little subset of cities does more than all of Morgan County, which is crazy.
Well, not only that, which is crazy, it does more than Morgan County, but look at your days on market.
I know,
which is
they're-
surprising, quite a bit higher.
They're
It
a lot
is.
higher.
But
we
number
also
of
have-
solds are, double almost.
But look at our new listings too. We
Oh,
get
yeah,
100 new listings in 2021, 99 in 2022, 73 in 23, and 91 in 2024. So
Wow.
we have a lot more inventory within Eden, Huntsville, Liberty than Morgan County combined.
Yeah.
But I think that will start to change. Morgan County's got, you got more townhomes. Like Ogden Valley has
Right.
some big complexes. You have Wolf Lodge,
Mhm.
Moose Hollow, all these higher density areas. And Morgan County is just starting to get
Break
those.
into that.
Right. And I think a lot of that is lifestyle and attitude too, right? Morgan's still kind of that farm community town. Ogden Valley is turned over to more of a vacation, leisure
Yeah.
type town. Lakes, ski resorts, where we're farms and Keystone beer and that kind of stuff. Still, that very old. And I would say Eden's a lot more progressive in that sense.
Yeah.
And I think that's what fuels that turnover change rate, right? You don't change your home very often, but people will change their vacation homes,
More often.
more often than
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. All good points. Well, This has been an awesome episode. A few things I want to say before we wrap this up. So we're entering into Q3. There's going to be some big changes. It's an election year. A lot of noise happening there. The new NAR settlement affecting how real estate agents operate, right? Come August, you remember the exact date, 15th or something, August 15th, they are removing the buyer agent commission off of the MLS, making it more, it's not going to be shown on Utah Real Estate and all these websites. So if a seller is going to offer a buyer's agent commission, it's going to be more privately discussed between the buyer's agent and the buyers and the seller.
Which it can still be advertised, just not on your MLSs.
Yeah.
And some other nuances. Don't quote me on that or sue me.
We have to be so
it's so careful because we live in that world nowadays. But
and we don't know exactly how this is going to affect things. In my eyes, this is just making it more obscure and discreet and quiet. Like before, it was like the buyer's agent commission was up everywhere. I don't understand why they're pulling it off, but whatever, we'll work with it. If you're going to be working with a buyer's agent, we have to have a signed buyer broker agreement before we show you a house come August.
Before we enter a home, you have to have that.
Yeah.
We're not trying to get you. Be careful.
Not trying to lock up a sale or anything.
Be careful still, but
I'm excited about that part.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what's funny is we've been doing that, so it's not really that hard.
Yeah.
For us.
Well, we've been doing it a lot when we write offers, not necessarily when it's like
go show a house.
Yeah.
That's where it changes.
But now they want the fiduciary responsibilities, like who you're working with starts when you show a house. So if you're a buyer out there and you're looking to purchase a property, whatever agent you're working with, basically treat it as an interview, a job interview. Go interview a few agents, see who's best for the job, and then hire them, sign a contract, then they can work with you.
Then go look at houses.
How does that work if you're a listing agent? And this is maybe something we should research more. And a buyer, unrepresented buyer, wants to
come see
the house.
I think you as a listing agent can show it to them, and they're unrepresented. So
I guess because you already have a fiduciary, so there is no question.
Right.
On who, on
who you're representing and stuff.
I think it is going to force buyers to not be able to jerk our chains as much, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, show me this house. I'm never talking to you again. Well, actually, in order for me to show that to you, you signed.
Yeah. Well, and I think, and there's different contracts we can sign. It can be exclusive for one property. It can be for the county. It can be for the state, whatever.
Right.
But our goal is like, we can only really handle so many buyers at a time. So we want to be working with the buyers that are like, hey, Austin,
they want to work with
this
us.
is what I'm looking for. I'm committed to you. You're committed to me. Let's get this deal done. Like I'll help those kinds of people out all the time. Yeah. It's the people that are like, hey, can you get me into the house? Yeah. And then you show it to them.
It's because my agent's out of town.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh, you forgot to tell me that part.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, well, I just took, it's a Friday night and like I had plans with my wife and kids, but here I am with you, and it's going to avoid those like frustrating situations.
And I think it'll open that communication up better.
Oh, I had a call. I should play the voicemail, but it was a lady and she's like, hey, we're coming into town and we'd like to see this listing in 3 hours. We're cash buyers. And I'm like, do you not think I have anything? Like, I don't have my day planned out more than 3 hours in advance. And there's people living there. Like, just like very like.
And wasn't an hour away, hour and a half away or something?
Yeah, it was a ways away. And I'm like, geez, people are so like, she's like, basically show it to me or else. And I'm like, okay, or else.
Or else.
Like, yeah. Anyways, so that will clear that up.
That. I respect that though. If they're real, it's really easy to say I'm a cash buyer.
If they're real, but then I was like, go drive by it. And then they ended up driving by it and they're like, yeah, it's not the right property. Yeah. We don't like the area.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we got.
You hear that? Peyton said he got tough with him, but what he did is actually still took care of him.
I did still take care of him.
Took care of him without taking care of him.
Yeah. I said I can show it to you the next morning. Like,
there you go.
Like we figured it out, but
yeah,
it's just funny how many people are like, right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, anyways.
Yeah, they almost think they're talking to a computer. Just like,
Yeah.
Whatever they want, summon it right away.
And I like that.
Yeah.
I want to know what you want. Like, don't be nice to me, but be nice to me. You know what I mean? Like,
Ben
You hear
likes it
that?
rough.
Friday
Yeah.
nights, 9 p.m.
Call Ben.
He called Ben.
if you're, but I think the same thing. If you knew they were a legit cash
Oh,
buyer,
I
they
would.
would have.
Yeah, I would for
you
sure
know,
be there.
yeah.
But the problem is how many people do we talk to that are like, yeah, pay Ben, I'm ready to buy that property you sent me, and then you're like, hey, dude, this is a good deal. Are you ready? And then I would say 80% of people are like, oh, this is soon. I don't have the funds, or I'm
Right.
not ready. And you're like, well,
Right.
you know,
hmm
And I think that's where this change is going to help a little bit.
yeah.
It's going to force that dialogue to
Yep.
happen.
I had a client, and this was it woke me up a little bit, because I think people tell me one thing and I'm like, I dilute it down. I'm like, okay, you're ready to buy 5 investment properties this year, but that really means it's one. And like, people always over exaggerate what their goals are and what they actually want to do. And this guy's like, Hayden, I'm coming into town. I'm flying in. I want to see these houses in this area, line them up. He legit flew in for 2 hours. We toured 3 properties and he flew out.
Wow.
And he's like, he owns a business, has all these employees. And I'm just like, geez, dude, like that was a serious level of commitment on your end. He had a knee injury and he's sitting on a plane, like, and he's like, let's make this quick, because I want to catch a 3:30 flight. I'm like, you got here at 11 and you want to catch the 3:30 flight? But I was like, I can hustle for that guy, right? Like, I'll find him stuff. I'll go knock doors. Like, that guy's ready to rock and roll. And so I think as agents, as if you're a buyer or a seller, if you show, like, if you're like, hey, I'll put in this, like, I'll make this happen if you do. Because I think we get, I guess, used to people being like, I'm ready, like all this, and then they're not. They're just talking, right?
Right.
Do you guys agree?
Yeah, they're usually not ready
Yeah. So
as soon as they think
and
they are.
we get beat up a little bit because we have these conversations all the time, and like, you know, it some people, like, it just takes a few years, and that's okay. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to be beating down the doors for a few years.
Yeah.
You know, trying to get you into a house.
Yeah.
So
if you're not ready to get into a house,
but they say they are, right?
Yeah,
So-
it's always the ox is in the mire, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, for how many years though?
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah.
But we
Can't
are
be a fire drill always.
we are willing to go to battle for you guys. Just, it's a communication thing. Like, are you legitimate, ready, pre-approved, locked and loaded, ready
Yeah.
to go? Do you know what you want? You know, and if we find that, are you willing and able to commit and act on it? Because we can find the deals
oh yeah,
for
they're
those
there.
for those that are ready. And I think it's that. Are you ready?
I think
Um,
almost every buyer that I've had for the last 2 years, we almost have to miss a deal
Yeah.
that they weren't ready for.
Yeah.
And I've been
to
like,
get them ready. Yeah.
remember when I said this? That was one of those times.
Yeah.
we missed
Yeah.
it because you just we talked to a lender, but we haven't actually
Yeah.
he emailed us this, but we didn't do
I knew-
anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
been annoying reminding you
Oh.
to be pre-approved, but it's
Yep.
because I knew this was going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that, I think that's half the job too. Is
Well, and
Hey.
sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
Like, people go through that, and I'm like,
Got to learn themselves.
Yeah,
the
I'm
hard
like-
way. Yeah.
it's got to be ready. So
Yep.
we got NAR settlement. We have the election. Like, it's just going to get more noisy from here on out. It's going to get crazy. Things are going to get wild. We might see some rate drops. Prices might fluctuate. Like, it's going to be a wild last 2 quarters here. So
Mhm.
it'll be interesting to watch it unfold. As we're seeing in these numbers, things are never like, remember when we were doing market updates like a year or 2 ago, and it was like everything was the same.
Stagnant.
Yeah.
We kept saying
Plateau.
stagnant.
Yeah. And I'm just like,
stagnant.
these are so boring to do. But now
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
like different numbers. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure. We got way more inventory, but prices are.
Why?
Yeah. So it is interesting. It keeps us on our toes. Market's always changing, and values are always changing. Neighborhood values are always changing. Like, it's crazy. You could have one sell in your neighborhood that just completely takes it to another level,
Mhm.
even though the state's doing one thing, right? Like, it's just,
Micro markets.
yeah.
And the biggest thing to take from today in this market update, I think, is where Peyton's going to take me and my wife to sushi, just so we can get that on the board.
Oh,
Yeah.
you and your wife now?
Oh,
Whoa.
now
Yeah.
okay. So my bad. Okay, I'll pay for my wife, but no.
I'll pay for Shaylee.
I thought we were gonna do a date thing. I thought that was the agreement. We'll take our wives.
No, we can watch. It's recorded on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
Go
we'll
back
have to
and
go
watch
back.
it.
I'm gonna have to. I guess I just assumed.
Yeah,
Sorry, Carly.
we
you
know
don't
what
get to come.
we know what
Yeah.
assuming means.
Yes, we do.
Well, you good?
No, you were saying a point and you didn't. You didn't
No,
end
that
your
was
point.
his point.
No, that was my
He said the
point.
main takeaway was his sushi.
Yeah, that
that
was
was
the
it.
main point. And
I
then
was
you-
waiting for something great.
No, that was
That
great.
just-
it was pretty good. I thought
Yeah.
it was-
For you.
All right. That's the point. Ioben Sushi. Inventory levels went up, but I was 0.3 off.
Yep.
Now I'm paying for
You
it.
say 0.3 like
That's 50% off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You're halfway there.
Yeah.
Until next time. Thanks, guys.
Okay.